Here we go. 2 hours. A little more than 2 hours before we actually get going. Red Zone's kicking off. It's going to be awesome. Gonna hang out here for about an hour, give or take, and answer your questions. Got some streams of the week, defensive streams, kicker streams, all the good shits. Wait a couple minutes, get some people in here, and we're gonna be off on your questions. A little rough this morning. I was on to like 2:30 last night. Quite a bit of beers, not a lot of sleep. It's okay. Woke up with a raging boner this morning though, so I don't know if that was football related or just the human body. Shout out to my wife. She actually tugged it. Not tugged it off, but touched it because it was like sticking straight up. It's pretty awesome. So, got Fantasy Pros up here. I'm going to give you my take on some start and sit players. Thank you. And she gets me coffee, tugs me, and gets me coffee. Yep, she's a saint. Why is this not working? All right. Get some people in here, answer some questions. Fantasy, gambling, whatever. Typically start sit questions, but I have some streams of the week on defensive teams. I have some kicker streams. You know, that's my game, man. I love streaming kicker and defense. Got Roto World popped up here, so anything that kind of drops, I'll break that to you. Ooh. Thug Life. I'm gonna look at these rankings, see what they have here. Oh, they have Ricky Pearsall at 37. That's wild, dude. I like him more as a must start, honestly, over that borderline start they have him at. They would tell you to start Travis Hunter over Ricky Pearsall, huh? Olave at 32. Where do they have A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown was listed as a top 10 receiver on Fantasy Pros. That did not work out well. I mean, I would have probably had him ranked around the same. I don't know anyone that benched A.J. Brown, but if you did, that's a very ballsy move. So, hit up the comments, give me your questions. Start, sit, boom, bust. I'm going to go through and give you my defensive and kicker streams of the week once we get a couple more people in here. I can start now with a couple people in here, and then okay, there we go. So, my defensive stream of the week. We're looking at teams that are rostered in less than 50% of leagues. I like the Giants, believe it or not. Not a very popular opinion, but they are owned in like 30%. Let's take a look here. Giants are owned in 4%. So they're at Washington, not a great matchup. I also like Cincinnati. That's a bad defense, but a good stream, 13% owned. Seattle, another one against the Niners, at home against the Niners, 22%. Jets at 25%. So I'm fine with any one of those streams. I see Buffalo available in a lot. Don't go against the Ravens there. That's a recipe for disaster. Now, this is what I'm very confident in. My kicking stream of the week. Chad Ryland. Where's he at? Well, he's owned in all my leagues because I have him. 4%, Chad Ryland. That's the Arizona kicker. At New Orleans, inside. Bad defense with New Orleans. Chad Ryland is the dude. Broncos D is about to feast. Hey, TB. Dr. TB, actually, pardon me. I think they're about to feast. Yeah. I'm just talking about my kicker stream of the week. It's Chad Ryland. Love that. Matt Gay, also an option at home against the Giants. He's Washington's new kicker. I am not as bullish though, because if you remember last year, Washington went for it on fourth down, like second or third most in the NFL. So I hate aggressive coaches when it comes to that, because they're just going to pass up 47 yarders left and right to go for it. So a little worried about that. So I think my stream is Chad Ryland. Again, owned in 4%. You can get him right now. It looked really good in the preseason too. I saw him hit multiple 50-yarders. Had a good year last year. Kind of an unknown kicker, but definitely a fan. All right, let's get to the start sit questions. What do you guys got? What do you guys got? If you're just tuning in, Chad Ryland is our kicker stream of the week, owned in 4% of leagues. For defensive streams, the team I'm streaming the most, believe it or not, the over-under wouldn't say it's a good play, but it's the Bengals, man. What do we know the recipe for fantasy defense's success is for points, right? It's having a lead, playing an aggressive quarterback, and a team that's going to be throwing the ball a lot down, right? Teams that run the ball a lot, you're not getting much. Because unless you get a fumble, you're not getting anything from that. So we want a team that's going to be playing from behind, a defense that's going to be playing from ahead, that is, and aggressive and kind of turnover-prone quarterback. That's Joe Flacco. TB, I got Boswell thoughts. Yes. Boswell, I can't put in the streaming section because he's owned in like 40, 50, 60% of leagues. But if you recall, last year, week 1, Boswell scored every point for the Steelers. I think he had 6 field goals. So Boswell's a stud, man. Always has been. All right, get into the questions here. It could be anything. I was doing kicker and defensive streams. We can get start, sit, anything. Quarterback, wide receiver, flex. 70 people in here, only 2 likes. Come on. Give me a couple likes. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing this every Sunday. I've been live every day the last 2 weeks doing drafts. What's up, Mick 49ers? Big day for you guys. Big day for you guys. What do we got? We got some questions. Eventually, I can't be on here too long. I got to go through my 26 lineups, 25 lineups, and double check some shit. Make sure, one little piece of advice, always have your last player playing in flex. Always have that. Whoever plays at 3 o'clock or Sunday, don't have a noon guy in flex. That's just the thing I see all the time. Don't have a noon player in flex, because yeah, it hurts you, because then you're limited if something happens. That was a thing that really started with me with COVID, because you started to get players ruled out last second, all that shit. So make sure your flex player is your latest player. Mick 49ers, McCaffrey, is he out today? We're not going to know that. We're not going to know anything about McCaffrey until probably 2:45. So do I start Golden? What are your other options, RZ? And if it's PPR, you want to go with a receiver. What are your other options? Because that's the thing. Like, I would probably start Golden, but we still don't know if Jaden Reed's playing yet. How about Thug Life coffee mug? I wish it was a Pineapple Express coffee mug, but it's just a random one that I got from my brother-in-law. Where do we have Golden? Golden is, wow, they have him down at wide receiver 42, but that's garbage. That's a garbage rank. You think T. Higgins is underrated? I mean, you're definitely starting T. Higgins no matter what. Like, great matchup. Do I think he's underrated in fantasy this year? No, I think he's properly rated, because you have the injury concern baked in, right? He's always kind of dinged up. He's at 14. Coleman and Bateman, you're definitely starting Golden. I would not start Bateman. That's just a dart throw for a touchdown. So Coleman would be the option. Apparently he's full go, but he did injure his groin. I think Wednesday, that is. He's back, but I would start Golden. You're getting a number 1. We don't know about the availability of Jaden Reed yet, but that's a really high over-under. Detroit and Green Bay has a 50 over-under, so you're getting a good game script there. T. Higgins is very good, but he always second fiddle. Well, second fiddle when you're on the Bengals is like first fiddle on most other teams. Should I have James Cook or Moore as my flex? Says AY. Uh, Probably James Cook, man. You think Bijan will finish? Finish the year. Flowers, Myers, or Odunze half PPR. I would say Flowers. I would rank it Flowers, Odunze, Myers. Where's Collins on that list? Nico Collins got to be number 5. Upside. Myers is going to have a great year. I think Myers will be steady. I don't know what the necessary upside is with Myers. I guess we'll see. We haven't heard much about him since he asked for that trade for his contract. McForty-Niners. Is Devontae Adams going to do good this year? What's your thoughts? I didn't draft any Devontae Adams. I think I drafted one share on one of my wife's teams. I was just taking other receivers in that area. Like I was taking Marvin Harrison Jr. over Devontae Adams, which may come back to be a mistake. I don't know, but Logan says, will Bijan finish first in points this year? He might finish first in points overall, not even just running backs. No Diggs. Diggs is playing as far as I'm concerned. I haven't heard anything to say he's not playing. I just don't know how comfortable I'd be starting him the first week. We don't know if he's playing a full complement of snaps. I expect him to be out there, and he's never been like a Nico Collins level 90+% snap player, but I expect him to be out there about 75% of snaps. It's just a stunt to get the Raiders to pay him. Yeah, and they didn't pay him. So Amari Cooper retired, so RZ rate my team. Josh Allen, Aaron Jones, Bijan, Moore, Waddle, Wilson, Kraft, and Matthew Golden. I'm going to rate that one good, partially because I love Tucker Kraft. So I feel like you have a top 5 tight end and you didn't draft as such. So I like that. Are the Giants cooked today against Jaden Daniels? No. If you watched the gambling show last night, I like the Giants plus the points. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I expect it to be relatively competitive, and I like the under. I think the Giants' defense is underrated, and it's probably the best defensive line in the league. Legion of Boom, he's literally the only wide receiver with experience. Bowers can't do it all. That is true. That is very true. I think the only counter to that is the last couple of years he's been good. Last year was good, but they had nobody else, and they also now that they don't have a lot of people now, but they have Ashton Genty. So they didn't run the ball at all last year. They're with Pete Carroll, Petey Sunshine. They're going to start running the ball, and Brock Bowers is still the number 1. Yeah, RZ, I like that team. Huge quarterback upgrade. Yes. I just don't know what the passing volume is going to look like there in Vegas. So I like Myers. He's solid. Just not really like a sexy play.
I like Gino.
Well, my wife says she likes Gino. Lurch says, need one running back and one flex. Brees, Ford, Flowers, and Hunter. Right now I have Brees and Zay in. Is this full PPR? You're definitely playing Brees Hall. You didn't draft him to bench him week 1. I know it's not a great matchup, but so you're starting Brees for sure, and I think you have to start Flowers. I think if you're feeling a little frisky, you could start Travis Hunter. He definitely probably has. I could see him going off like first game 8 to 10 catches, but Zay Flowers in that matchup, that should be a shootout there. Gino is mid, but the Raiders haven't had a starter since Carr. Yeah. Logan Stretch, rate my team. Jaden Daniels, Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Brock Bowers, Puka. Jeez, Puka as your flex? Yeah, and you got the Steelers and Chris Boswell combo. That's a good team. Bijan, Jacobs, Evans, Higgins. Yeah, dude, your receivers are touchdown mavens, man. J-Mo, Calvin Ridley, or Juwan Jennings? It's going to come down between J-Mo and Calvin Ridley. I would probably start J-Mo. Just pay the guy. If it was a different matchup for Calvin Ridley, I would consider Ridley if it's full PPR, but not in this matchup. I'm still starting Ridley if I don't have better options. I'm not benching Ridley for a player like Cooper Kupp or Jennings or Downs, but JMO is at 30 right now in Fantasy Pros PPR, and we have Ridley at 33. So I think Ridley will have more targets, but you're looking at big plays with JMO. Do I start Demont for upside? No, you're looking at Demont. You're talking about David Montgomery is a floor play. I don't think you're getting a lot of upside there. Garrett Wilson or Olave? It's Garrett Wilson, man. As much as I'm a big Olave guy, we have Garrett Wilson at 22 here in Fantasy Pros, and we have Olave at 32. I have Olave ranked higher than that, but it's not going to be ahead of Garrett Wilson. I mean, you're drafting Garrett Wilson for a reason. You're not drafting him in the 4th round to sit him first week. First week, I generally just play my guys, but some of these are tough. Like Juwan Jennings is a tough one. Surtain will shadow Ridley, and he will miss the game. Surtain isn't really like they don't use him as shadow. Their defense is so good. They have other guys opposite where like they're going to put Ridley in the slot a lot and put him in motion. So I don't think he's going to see that much Surtain. That being said, how many points are the Titans really going to score? What about Garrett Wilson? Should I keep starting him? I mean, we got to see what it looks like, but I wouldn't be benching Garrett Wilson week 1. Unless you had like maybe like Ibuka versus Wilson would be a tougher decision. I drafted Judkins, Worthy, Godwin, Ayuk, and Mixon. How cooked am I? I mean, you're cooked for the first half of the season. That's very, very risky here. Olave or Hill? Tyreek Hill for sure. Creepy Crawlin says Jameson, Tetaroa, Aaron Jones, or Travis Hunter in the flex. Not Aaron Jones. I think it's Jameson Williams. Oh, actually, no, it's Tetaroa. It's Tet. I didn't realize that. You have Tet. That's a good flex option to have. McForty-9er, should I be nervous about having A.J. Brown? No. I think that might be a sign of things to come, but it's not like you're dropping him or benching him. And he's going to have some big pop-off games. I think week 2 he should go off, but we'll see. Garrett Wilson or Flowers? I still think Garrett Wilson, man. What up, Nate? Olave or Flowers? That's a tough one. They are pretty close in Fantasy Pros ranks. I think I'm going Olave, dude. Neither of them are big touchdown guys, especially this year with Olave with no quarterback, but give me the number 1, and I think that the Saints are going to have to attempt 35 to 40 passes. You're not going to get that from the Ravens. Yeah, start Tet. I'm not even a Tet guy, but if I'm telling you to start Tet and I don't really like the guy this year for fantasy where he was going, that's the dude right there. Is Waddle a good flex? Waddle has a great matchup this week, so I do like Waddle this week. All right, I'm probably going to be on here maybe another 30 or 40 minutes. I have 25 lineups to go through and just check everything, make sure it's good. Henderson or Golden this week? Ooh, that's a tough one, man. If you're like the underdog, I would probably go TreVeyon Henderson. If you are, we'll see where they have Henderson ranked here in running backs. Henderson at 22. So if you're like the favorite, I think you're going to get a better floor with Golden, but I think I'm starting Henderson either way. Legion of Boom, Chase, Collins, Stroud, Walker, and Mayfield in 2 quarterback leagues. So I'm hoping I can get through the first half of the season. Logan Shreds, who's getting the most points this week? I haven't thought about that. Oh, God. Oh, I got a bot in here. TreVeyon Henderson or J.K. Dobbins? We're going Henderson there. It depends. Full PPR, Henderson for sure. If it's standard, for some reason, if you're playing a standard league with no PPR, I'd probably go Dobbins. Higgins or A-Chain, a fair trade. I need to add to my running backs. If you're getting A-Chain was getting drafted ahead of T. Higgins, so I would say that's a good trade for you. How do you feel about Detroit this year? I'm not worried about Detroit. I'm not worried about losing the coordinators. Their defense is going to be for real. So in terms of like their win total, yes, tough division. They have a tough schedule. It's still Detroit, man, and they're going to win 10, 12 games. They're probably not going to win 15 games like they did last year, but they might go farther in the playoffs, right? Dobbins is washed. I don't think it matters if he's washed. I think he's going to be an early season playable flex running back, especially in some of these early cupcake matchups they have. A-Chain has a soft tissue injury, and it's a bit risky. Yeah, but, you're talking about between him and T. Higgins, that's a soft tissue war right there of who's going to have a soft tissue injury first. T. Higgins has had one every single year of his career. PPR, Jerome Ford or Tyrone Tracy. Now that right there is a tough one. They're probably going to have Tracy ranked higher. Tracy's at 25, Jerome Ford's at 32. Dude, I think I like Jerome Ford. He's going to have, I don't know, 5 or 6 catches in this matchup. Ollie Gord is available in most leagues. Yeah, well, not in any of my leagues because I've drafted him in the 10th, 11th, 12th round. But Ollie Gordon should be a stud this year. Y'all better start Aaron Jones. You like Aaron Jones? I'm a little off Aaron Jones. I think I have to start Aaron Jones in a flex in one league, and I'm not very happy about it. Should be fine early in the year. Guys, we got 120 people in here and only 7 likes. That's disgusting. We've gotten actually more subs than likes, so. Jalen Waddle or Aaron Jones? Jalen Waddle. This is full PPR. Babu. It should be Babu Bot. Seinfeld reference. Jalen Waddle. If it's a deciding factor in PPR, I usually would just go with the wide receiver. Now, Aaron Jones, pass catching running back, I get all that. But yeah, I'm going with the wide receiver. Legion of Boom, I haven't decided if I like what you're saying yet. Is that regards to what? Everything? Should I drop JCM for Judkins? Dude, that is tough because Judkins, the report came out a couple hours ago that he may play week 2. Unfortunately, we don't know if they're going to hand down any discipline, any suspension. So if he's playing week 2 and there's going to be no suspension, I like Judkins more than I like JCM. But if you're talking about a 3, 4, 5, 6 game suspension for Judkins, I would much rather have JCM. Judkins is a must-add. He's typically not available in most leagues, but if you could get Judkins, yeah. Kenneth Walker or Tyreek Hill, whew. Now that's a good option to have, man. You're sitting pretty right there, bro. Again, I say Kenneth Walker is safer, where Tyreek Hill has more of the boomer bust potential. Walker should be set between 8 and 15 points. I liked it already. Jaylen Warren or Garrett Wilson, PPR. Same game. Oh, that's so tough. Again, Jaylen Warren, probably the safer option to get you between 8 and 12 points, 10 to 14 points, where Garrett Wilson could come out and score 6 points in this game. Like, I would still start Garrett Wilson, though. Again, like, you're not drafting Garrett Wilson. Let's not admit that we're wrong on our draft picks before they've even played. We don't know what it's going to look like. I'm starting Garrett Wilson. It's going to take a hell of a player for me to not. Like, Ricky Pearsall, Garrett Wilson, give me Garrett Wilson. I think we're going to look at where they have him ranked in Fantasy Pros. This is based on, 20 experts? We have Garrett Wilson at 22. So, guys that are behind Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Devonta Smith, he laid an egg, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle. Now, if you had Jerry Jeudy and you want to play Jeudy over Garrett Wilson, I get it. They're going to have a lot more pass volume there this week. 2 to 4 weeks tops, JCM is the 3rd best running back on his team. Yeah, I'm not a big JCM guy. JJ McCarthy or Jared Goff? I think we're going Jared Goff until we see what the offense looks like in Minnesota, how aggressive they're going to allow him to be. I'm going Jared Goff for sure. Genuine question for you. Do you think Tyreek Hill will return to top 6 wide receiver numbers? This is from Chubbs. I'm concerned I drafted a very risky player. You did draft a very risky player, but I don't think top 6, but I would say he'll probably outkick where you drafted him at wide receiver 15. It's risky. Like he's a guy that if he finishes wide receiver 6 on the year, I'm not surprised. If he finishes wide receiver 30 on the year, I'm not surprised. That won't be because of his production. That might be because he's not playing. Whether he gets suspended by the team, whether he walks off the field like an Antonio Brown, whether they trade him, which actually wouldn't be a bad thing. So it is a risky pick, but like going in drafting Tyreek Hill, it's going to be volatile week to week, maybe for the whole season. But you have the upside of top 2, top 3 on this. We just saw it 2 years ago. Jerry Jeudy or Olave for the flex. They have Jeudy ranked at 25 and Olave at 32. I would probably say if you're going to start Jeudy, this is your time. You got to start Jeudy in the beginning of the year because you don't know what that team's going to look like in 5 weeks. We don't know how long Joe Flacco's starting. So probably Jeudy, although I'm a really big Chris Olave fan. But Jeudy probably has more touchdown upside and probably going to have more targets. Am I liking Metcalf? I love DK Metcalf. Don't have nearly enough shares of him that I would have wanted to have. But yeah, I like DK Metcalf this year. He's gonna be peppered with targets. I just got here. Where is BTJ ranked? So Fantasy Pros, he's gonna be like number 8, number 6. So I mean, this isn't really a start sit question because if you're sitting Brian Thomas, it must be like a 4-team league. I would have him lower though personally. I would have Drake London ahead of him. I would have St. Brown ahead of him. Puka or Adams? Puka. Debo or Jordan Mason? If it's PPR, you got to go Debo. You got to go Debo, especially with the questions they have in Washington's backfield. You got to go Debo. You have to wait and see what the deployment of the backs are going to have in Minnesota. We don't know what the role of Jordan Mason is going to be. We know it's going to be substantial. We don't know how. If it's going to be all the goal line work, it's going to be half the goal line work. Is he going to be playing on half the snaps? Another bot in here. Screw you, bot. Baker or Knicks? I have Evans and Sutton to stack both. Oh, they both have good matchups, but I think we're going Bo Nix, man. I guess for me, it depends on your settings, right? If it's only -1 for an interception, I would probably go Baker because I think he's going to be chucking the ball over the yard. If it's 6 for a passing touchdown, I'm going Baker. If it's 4 for a passing touchdown, I'm going Nix. More scrambling upside. Do I start Devontae Adams or Jerry Jeudy? I think you're starting Devontae Adams. I could see the appeal of starting Jerry Jeudy over Adams in his first game. You got a banged up Stafford, but again, when you draft a guy in the 4th round like you did with Adams, I think you just start your guy. That's your Mr. Sports edits. Who'd you start, Aaron Jones or Breece? Breece Hall. Breece Hall. Again, we're starting our guys. Breece Hall, you drafted him for a reason. Not an easy matchup, but he should have 3, 4, 5 catches. Ooh, from Dylan, this is a tough one. Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence? I'm starting Trevor Lawrence, and I think I have that conundrum in a couple leagues. I'm starting Trevor easily. Look at the matchup. We have Trevor Lawrence ranked at the 10th quarterback. A golden matchup at home against Carolina, and then we have pretty tough matchup for Caleb. He's down at 17. He actually performed really well against the Vikings last year. That was one of his breakout coming out games. But the Vikings have exotic blitz packages, and it could go bad. I mean, that game could be a sneaky 35, 40 points total. It's only a 43 over-under. Get out of here, bots. Any bet predictions? Yeah. My line, the bet of the week I have is the Bengals -5.5. That one just seems too easy. I wonder where the line moved. I can check. I wonder if it's moved because I figured it was going to go to 7. It's -5.5. I thought by game time it's going to go to 7. Maybe it went the other way, but I don't think so. Let's see. -5.5 still. Only -105 for the Bengals. So I love that one. Also, Jaden Daniels and Justin Fields over rushing props. They were 42.5 when I bet them. I think they're now both up to 45.5. Love both those. Let's see what we have here. Tyrone Tracy from Vincent. Tyrone Tracy, Pearsall, or Golden. I would probably rank it Oh man, those are so close. I think I'd start Tracy as the safest floor as a starting running back there. And then Pearsall or Golden. Pearsall is more of the upside play. Golden's the floor play. Ibuka or Montgomery with Evans already at wide receiver one. I mean, we're going to Ibuka. Especially if it's PPR. Always start the receiver. Yes, -1 for interception, 4 for a TD. Thanks, bro. You're welcome, Anthony. Definitely go Bo Nix there if you have that because, yes, Baker scrambles a little bit. Bo Nix, I mean, I think his total right now, over under is 29 rushing yards, where Baker would be more like 14. So you're more likely for a rushing touchdown from Bo Nix. And the -1 does make me, I don't know, it's only 4 for a passing touchdown, right? So Bo Nix can do it with his legs more. Brees Hall or Tracy? Brees Hall for sure. Greg says flex position Swift or Jacoby Myers or Calvin Ridley. I would probably go Swift, man. We have currently Roshan Johnson probably unlikely to play. Kyle Monungai is questionable, but he's going to play. But you have a rookie 7th rounder as his backup. So DeAndre Swift's going to get a lot of work, man. Nah, don't start Brees Hall, says that's crazy. I mean, then you shouldn't have drafted Brees Hall. So the season hasn't started yet. We don't know what it's going to look like with the workload share with him and Braylon Allen. I still think Brees Hall is going to get 15 to 17 touches, so I would start Brees Hall. Again, Tyrone Tracy, we don't know how much is Singletary going to be in the mix, and then they're still going to play Scatterbo, and they're not probably going to score that many points. You drafted Brees because it's all you had. Don't start his dumbass. Well, this guy hates Brees Hall, and I get it, man. It's not. We don't know. Would it surprise you if Brees Hall came out and got like 19 carries, 19 touches week 1? To Braylon Allen's like 6 or 7. Started Worthy. Need the upside in the flex. Sutton and Buka or Dobbins. It's Sutton. You're starting Sutton here. Definitely not Dobbins. So it's either Sutton or Buka. McMillan or Sutton. I am not a big Tet guy. Good matchup for both of them. I'm going Sutton there. Debo or Travis Hunter? I think, Johnny, I'm going to go Travis Hunter. The report came out yesterday. He's going to be playing a lot of snaps, like 80, 90% of offensive snaps. Good matchup there. Debo is a tougher matchup against the Giants. So that one's tough, but I think I'm going Debo. Let's see where they have it ranked out in Fantasy Pros. We're looking at Debo. We got Hunter at 35. Debo at 38. So I'm going Hunter. That's what it tells you to go. Trevor has a lot to prove this year. Caleb should have a big game, though. It can go bad for Caleb, though. I think this is a prime spot for Trevor Lawrence. Any bet predictions, Mr. Blackjack? Bengals -5.5. That's my bet of the week in terms of line. But also Fields and Jaden Daniels rushing prop. Let's see. Absolutely Scary Terry. Scary Terry or JSN? I think we're going JSN. I believe McLaurin is a hard worker. I know he sat out most of camp. I'm not worried about him being in shape, but not an easy matchup against the Giants. And JSN, again, not a great matchup for JSN, but he's all they have there. Cooper Kupp is cooked. So you're definitely looking at, I think JSN's the play. That's what I would do. Kiddo receptions, Ridley or Juwan Jennings? I'm going Ridley still. We don't know how many snaps Juwan Jennings is going to play. I expect him to be out there 70%, but I definitely would be going Ridley. I know it's a tough matchup, but he's still the number 1 there. I can guarantee Ridley gets 8 targets in this game. Now, what he does with them is different. I don't know. Ricky or Rome? It's Ricky for me. It's Ricky for me. Easier matchup. James Conner or Travion Henderson from Sloan? Probably James Conner. I think you're just going to go with the savvy veteran there. Week 1, he's healthy. Going to get 18 touches. Henderson may take one to the house, which is the worry. If it's still at 4.5, I don't like 5.5 as much. Well, we all would prefer 4.5, but would it surprise you if the Bengals came out and won 35-14? Harrison Jr., Ricky Pearsall, or Jamison Williams. I would rank it Harrison Jr., J-Mo, and then Ricky Pearsall last. Russ or Darnold in this flex. I'm guessing that's super flex. Oh, I think I'd go Sam Darnold. I don't know if you guys saw the report that came out today that Jackson Dart, for some reason, is going to be used in some like specialty packages, which is weird because he's not really a scrambler. That's usually like what I expect to hear from with like Jalen Milroe. That kind of scares me a little bit. Josh Palmer or Waddle? It's Waddle. It's definitely Waddle. Ollie Gordon, pick up Dowdle for RB2, or pick up Dowdle. Ollie Gordon for sure. Ollie Gordon if you need to play him over Dowdle, and Ollie Gordon season long. Although I do like Dowdle. Jerome Ford or Swift? It's Swift, man. It's Swift. He's going to get all the work. They're going to have similar workloads, but better offense, better player. Russ or Darnold in the quarterback 2 flex. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Darnold. Definitely Darnold. Ridley or Pearsall this week. Whew, that's a tricky one, man. I think I go Pearsall here. That one is a flip a coin. So literally flip a coin, and that would make sense there because that's a tough one. I think Pearsall has just like who's more likely to score a touchdown? It's Ricky Pearsall. Tua or Goff? This is Goff. I know Tua's got a good matchup, but I want to see it first, Greg, from Tua. Marv Harris or Garrett Wilson? I'm going Marv. It's going to be a shootout at Lambeau. It wouldn't surprise me if this game's a little lower scoring than we think, though. I think it's got a high number, though. It's like a 50-ish over-under. So Harrison or J-Mo Williams? I'm going Harrison Jr., man. You're getting the number 1 there. They got to start getting that man involved. Slight INT risk with Goff, though. I've seen him throw at least one against the yeah, Spencer, you're right, but depends what your settings are. Most leagues are only -1 or -2 for a pick. Kyle Pitts or Cooper Kupp at flex, half PPR. Cooper Kupp. Now that sounds gross to say. I don't like that name coming out of my mouth, but it did. I've got Henderson, Swift, or Pearsall for flex. I think I'm going DeAndre Swift, man. It's close between all of them. If you need stability and you just need like 12 or 14 points, it's going to be DeAndre Swift there. What do we think about Trevor Lawrence this week? I like the matchup. Yeah, they have him. So they have Trevor Lawrence ranked as a top 10 quarterback. I wouldn't go that far for this week, but I'm starting him. I think I would probably start Drake May over him. He's a little lower on these rankings. Brock Purdy, it's tough, but Trevor Lawrence does offer some rushing floor, and great matchup for him this week. Marvin Harrison or Brian Thomas Jr. It's Brian Thomas Jr. Well, again, let's not get cute with you're talking about a second-round pick. You're starting your guys. When it comes down between Ridley and Pearsall, that's where it's like we need to make a decision. But always just start your studs. I hope losing the OC doesn't kill Goff and St. Brown this year. No, it might be a little different offense, but it's not gonna hurt like the studs. Justin Fields or CJ Stroud at quarterback. That's going to depend on the scoring. If it's 6 for a passing touchdown, you're going CJ Stroud all day. If it's 4 for a passing touchdown, I'd probably go Fields because they both have tough matchups. Rams have a good D. Tet McMillan or Shakir. We're going Tet. We're definitely going Tet. All right, boys, I got like 15 or 20 minutes left, so I got to go through all my lineups. Check the last second news. Eat some breakfast. Stroud or McCarthy and Pearsall or Ibuka at full PPR. I'm going to go McCarthy, and I'm going to go Ibuka for those two. Again, if you're new to the channel, appreciate a sub. I'm going to be doing this show every Sunday morning, 3 or 4 other live shows throughout the week. I'm going to have a waiver show on Tuesdays, probably around 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're going to be doing a gambling show every Saturday night if you guys like to gamble. My betting show comes out Friday. It's not live, though, but you can always check that out. 3 bets a week. Been killing it the last 3 years. Stroud or McCarthy. Yeah, we're going McCarthy. We're going Ibuka, full PPR. Stroud and McCarthy's tougher. I'm going to Buka over Pearsall for sure. I mean, look at their props. Ooh, I just pounded 2 cups of coffee. Feeling a little better. If you're also just tuning in, haven't had any kicker or defensive questions, but my stream of the week on kickers is Chad Ryland. He's only owned in 4% of Yahoo leagues. That's at New Orleans. Love that matchup. Chad Ryland's a pretty good kicker. He had a great preseason. I saw him out there banging some 50-yarders. Good year last year as well. Chad Ryland, I have as a top 10 kicker. That's dude you can get everywhere. In terms of streaming defenses, an underrated kind of contrarian play is the Giants at Washington. They're going to be, they do what you want for fantasy points from the defensive team position, right? They have an amazing pass rush, which is going to lead to some turnovers. I know you're facing Jaden Daniels, but I do like the Giants season long, even though their schedule is nuts. But I think that's going to be a lower scoring game than people are giving it credit for. Pick one, wide receiver, Pittman, Shakir, Bateman, and Njoku, or Olave. Pick one to go. Bateman. You're dropping Bateman for sure. I'm starting Olave first. It's close. It's Olave, Shakir, and Pittman, probably in that order. Shakir, though, coming off an injury, I think he's going to play, but I would start Olave over him just because the risk of an injury in terms of a soft tissue injury, like flaring up mid-game for Shakir, is going to be there, which is not much, 10-20%, but that's like a tiebreaker for me. Top of the morning, brothers. What up, Brian? It is the morning. If you're just tuning in, Chad Ryland, kicker start of the week, stream of the week, owned in 4% of Yahoo leagues. I like the Bengals defense this week. I know that sounds super gross. The Bengals have an awful defense, but Joe Flacco's throwing at least 2 picks today, boys. Happy fantasy hunting to you all. Finally, man. We've been waiting months for this. At least I have. All right, winding down. I got at least 15 minutes left till we keep the questions going. Ooh, Joe Flacco or Matty Stafford in a 2-quarterback league. We're going Joe Flacco here, man. Stafford's coming in with a hurt back. That's going to be a lower scoring game there in Houston. So, yeah, we're going Joe Flacco. Not great options there, but I'm going with the Rams D against a horrible Houston offensive line. Yeah, the Rams D, they're a little more higher owned than the Bengals and Giants, but they should be available. I think they're available in like 30% of leagues. I like actually both those defenses in that game because Houston has a top 5, top 8 real-life defense, and you got an injured Matt Stafford. We don't know how injured, but we have an injured Matt Stafford. I like the Rams D as well against that shitty offensive line, so that's a good point. I think that game is ripe for turnovers, man. So I think we kind of like the under in that game. I think it's like 43. Sloan says, I have Bo Nix, Kyron Williams, James Conner, Jamar Chase, Ladd McConkey, Kittle, Brian Thomas Jr., Vikings defense, and Santos at kicker. I would get rid of Santos, man. He does not have a big leg. I don't see, with Ben Johnson taking over, and one thing that was nice about Santos last year with the Bears was they were pretty conservative on 4th downs. I expect the Bears to be pretty aggressive on 4th downs, and I'm a little weary starting kickers on teams that are aggressive on 4th downs. They pass up a lot of 45-yarders on 4th and 4. So that's why I like Dicker's a great option every week because both the Harbaughs, they don't go for it on 4th down. So you're getting 1 to 2 extra attempts a week just based on that. I got Hollywood and Judkins on the bench, and the future looks good for my last 2 picks of the draft. Yeah, Hollywood looks like an every week starter depending on the worthy news. Now, they did break the news that he has a dislocated shoulder. So depending on what route they want to go, surgery is a season ender for him. If they just go the treatment route, you're probably looking at a 2 to 3 week absence. But that first week coming back, how comfortable are you starting Xavier Worthy? Should I pick up Little kicker? Yeah, pick up Little. I love the matchup for Little. Huge. I mean, we all saw him hit a 70-yarder in preseason, but he was really good last year too. And just the confidence factor that like they're going to let him go out there and kick a 58-yarder instead of go for it on 4th and 5 when most teams are just going to go for it. I like Little, that ability to hit the long bomb. So Little, I didn't mention him. Little would be, I would start Little over my boy Chad Ryland, but usually Little was drafted in most drafts. So if Little's available, that's a season-long guy you could probably keep because that offense will be better, and I don't know exactly how aggressive to be on 4th down. So Little's the dude. If I play Penix or Flacco, I would probably go Penix here. Again, I like Flacco as a stream this week, but you have a similar kind of situation with Penix. It's going to be a shootout against the Bucs, and that was last year. Kirk Cousins' 2 best games were against the Bucs, so those games are typically really high scoring. Give me Michael Penix there. I haven't had any news on Roto World in a while. That's going to be all the inactives are about to be coming out here in about 3 minutes. Typically, it's 90 minutes before game time. We are 37 subs away from 2,000, so it's been a nice 2-week run for us here. Appreciate you guys in the comments. It's been a fun 2 weeks. Been learning a lot about fantasy. Not that I didn't have a lot to learn because I've been playing so much for so long, but it's a good exercise, especially the start sit. I'm not perfect, right? We all make mistakes, like especially the hindsight mistake where you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? But I like also having multiple people in the chat correcting me or saying their opinion because it's good to talk these things out. Yeah, I do like Penix as a stream this week. Not going to offer too much with his legs, but last year he had 7 yards rushing in those 3 starts. Penix is much more mobile than that, and he did have a rushing touchdown in those 3 games. So I think Penix could have a sneaky like 220, 250 yards rushing this year, and I could see him. He's a big boy having 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns. McCarthy going to be on top of that list. This week, I don't really like McCarthy. I would probably go with a more proven asset. Monday Night Football, that game could be a little bit bogged down. He's missing some weapons too. We got no Addison. That's an issue. We have the first game of Adam Thielen. For me, Adam Thielen doesn't move the needle at all. That is an old man. What else? You guys got anything else? Any other questions? It doesn't have to be just about this week. It could be about going forward. Trade questions, projections, gambling questions. If you have any gambling questions. Again, 3 bets of the week. Bengals minus 5.5. Love that line. I love the alt line too. They're going to smoke them. Justin Fields over 42.5 rushing yards. That has currently gone up to like 44. And then Jaden Daniels over 42.5. I think that's at 45.5 now. Should I trade Lamar for Tua? Don't even think about it. That's crazy. May or Lawrence this week? We were talking about that earlier. I think I would still go Drake May. Trevor Lawrence has a great matchup, but Drake May is going to offer you such a nice floor with his legs that, I mean, I don't like the matchup as much against the Raiders. It should be a lower scoring game, but give me Drake May. Unpopular opinion from Ernie. Ernie Johnson, what up? Say hi to Charles for me. But clearly no one can debate with me. Please try if they dare. People who think Jalen Carter should get kicked are so soft. What the fuck does this have to do with football? I watch for the best. I mean, he should have got kicked from the game because he got caught spitting in someone's face. Now, it didn't hit him in the face, but it could have. I don't think he should be suspended, though. Problem is, you already have he's been kind of on good behavior since coming into the league, but there's a reason that the Eagles got him at 9th overall. He was a top 3 talent. It's character issues. So he has a reputation of kind of being a knucklehead. And first play, before the first play even started, you're spitting on someone. You deserve to get kicked. That's just stupid, man. National TV, too. You know that replay was going to come out. If they didn't kick him, then it would be more of a firestorm. Harvey or Myers and flex? I think I'm going Myers, man. If it's full PPR, I'm going Myers. Half PPR, I'm going Harvey. Drake May is Mac Jones 2.0. If you put like a Ferrari engine on Mac Jones, that would be Drake May. But I don't know, man. I think Drake May might disappoint some people this year in real life in terms of he's turnover prone. Their win total is really high, but he's going to be just fine in fantasy. What's funny is the worse he does in real life, I think is better for his fantasy value because they'll be playing from behind. He'll be using his legs more and kind of just running and gunning it. Full PPR, Tillman or Juwan Jennings? Oh, you're tickling my sweet spot because I am Steve-O. I'm a huge Tillman fan. But that being said, Jennings is probably the better option. But I think Tillman, my heart tells me Tillman, my head tells me Juwan Jennings. Brian says if you spit on someone in public, it's an assault charge, the same as a punch to the law. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as bad as a punch, but it's disrespectful is what it is. Terry McLaurin, 20 points today. You have to start Terry McLaurin if you drafted him. I would bench McLaurin we'll look at certain names that I'd be willing to bench McLaurin for. We have him rated at 18. Marvin Harrison or McLaurin. I think I would go Marvin Harrison over McLaurin. I think I would go Sutton over McLaurin, but that's probably the line. I wouldn't start Wilson, Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Waddle. I wouldn't start those guys over him. Flacco and Tillman could be a nice duet. Dude, Tillman's going to get so many snaps and so many targets. They don't really have a third option there. Now, they do have David Njoku, who's going to be probably more targets than Tillman, but Tillman, that should be a nice pairing because we have an aggressive quarterback in Joe Flacco. We have Tillman playing X, running downfield. I love that. All right, we got 9 minutes left here, and then I got to log off and go through my teams. So any last second questions you have, if you could sub to the channel, I'd appreciate it. Again, we're going to be doing this every Sunday along with 3 or 4 other shows. So, sorry I'm doing this on my phone. I have my new laptop coming. I'll be stepping up the production value here shortly. Big year for Njoku if he can stay healthy. Yeah, I think the worry with Njoku is Harold Fannin Jr. is a monster. Now, whether they're going to play him in the slot and play them both together, I don't know. Njoku's a prime trade candidate for like week 7, week 8, because they're going to be trash this year. If they could get a third rounder for Njoku, that'd be money. And then you get to play Harold Fannin, who's probably the future of that position. But early in the year, Njoku should eat. Ridley or Hunter today? Man, I have that conundrum in a couple leagues. And I think it depends what you need. If you're the favorite and you don't want like a 4 or 5 point outing, I think you go with Ridley. If you need a little more upside, you're going Hunter because Hunter could go off. I don't think any world you're going to see Ridley go 8 for 100 yards and a touchdown. I think you're more likely to have that from Hunter. But you're also more likely to be disappointed from Hunter because we don't know the snaps here. All the reports say he's going to play full-time on offense. Like, that could also be a smokescreen. And also, it's going to be very fun to play Travis Hunter in his first game. Trevor Lawrence or Fields. This is easily Trevor Lawrence for me this week. Season long, I would like Fields more, but not exactly a great game script. And we have to see how much they're going to let Fields run. So I would just go Trevor Lawrence safer. But season long, I'd probably be starting Fields more times than not. But you're going to figure out early on how Lawrence looks, how that offense looks. Does it look a little different? Is Hunter playing a lot on offense? You're going to figure out a lot about Justin Fields, too. Are they going to have design rush plays for him, design quarterback keepers, which I expect they will. It's just not a great matchup in Pittsburgh. Left Herbert on my bench to start Williams, feeling a bit dumb. Yeah, let's see what the matchup, let's see what Fantasy Pros say to make you feel a little better. So, Caleb, they were right next to each other. They had Herbert at 15 and Caleb at 17. So what was really promising for Herbert was, man, he was using his legs a lot. I think he had 40 or 50 yards rushing. If you recall, he also had 2 back-to-back quarterback keepers where he scrambled out of the pocket that got called back for holding at the end of the first half. So, like, he could have had 70 yards rushing, man. So I'm definitely liking Herbert. I was a little down on him. I think I have him more best ball than redraft. I was taking him as a backup. But I get why you do that, right? Like you drafted Caleb probably ahead of Herbert. And Njoku to the Chargers would be a nice. Oh, dude, that's a good call because they don't really have a tight end. Also, a team's going to lose a tight end for the year at some point, and that's going to be a tight end needy team. God forbid that George Kittle gets hurt, but like that'd be a good spot. We know the Niners are not afraid to make midseason trades. They're going to win now. Ernie says, you guys are soft as fuck and ruining football for real men. Go watch WNBA or college football or go watch your kids play football. Are you still pissed about us saying that he should have been kicked out of the game for spitting on a guy? Oh, no, smokescreen. I really just had to clown and silence you guys, all in your opinion. I mean, hey, I just think spitting on someone like is pretty low, man. I don't know if you remember Roberto Alomar back in the day spitting in an umpire's face. I think it's just it's a Sally move, man. Don't spit on somebody. It's also just an easy in today's day and age. Everything is caught on camera, and the referee was standing right there. So Drake May, Purdy, or Danny Dimes. It's probably Drake May. Let's see what they have here. Drake May, Purdy are right there. Danny Dimes is not in the discussion. You should probably just drop Danny Dimes unless it's a super flex because he's going to lose his job at some point. Danny Dimes is a bum. It's Drake May. All right, we got about 4 or 5 minutes left, so whatever you guys got. I got to go through all my lineups. A lot of lineups to go through. Ernie, good point, man. This is sports. NFL had to make an example of Jalen Carter. Like they had to. And if you noticed, like what I hate is that taunting call that happened. I think it was against the Eagles. Guy made a nice 2-yard loss stop on a running play and just stood over the guy and flexed. That's the shit I hate, dude. That's gonna affect the game. Like, let's let our guys celebrate. Like it's the first game. It's a big play for a player. Like it's not like he's pulling his pants down. So Brian says a 6'5", 340-pound defensive tackle spitting on a 6'1", 220-pound quarterback is gay as hell. That's a good. I like that. It is pretty gay. We're allowed to say that on this stream, on this channel. We don't care. This is not PC. PC principal would be shaking his head right now, though. Yeah, just keep the spitting out, man. It's funny though. I think it's hilarious. It was really good. It was really good theater. Shakir or Eckler? This is going to be Shakir for me. I like Eckler's floor though. Gay as in stupid. Right. We all know that's what I meant. That's what we used in the 90s, right? Everything was gay. We just said that is stupid. Unfortunately, the community doesn't take kindly to that. But that's like an old saying. So I'm not hating you for that one, man. Start Hall or Henderson? Ooh, now that's a sticky one. Hall or Henderson, man. I think they're gonna have Hall ranked higher on Fantasy Pros. We have Brees Hall at 20, Henderson at 22. I think the upside play is definitely in Henderson. I would project Brees Hall to have 3, 4, 5 more touches than Henderson, but how valuable are those touches going to be? So I think we go Henderson here, man. As much as I'm kind of a Brees Hall guy compared to everyone's writing him off. Gilly says, I was born in 78. I don't do this new age BS. You're 10 years older than me. You're still a young man, Gilly. Young man. JMO or DK? Ooh, I'm going DK, man. Believe it or not. DK is probably going to get 9 or 10 targets this week. Now, I don't know what those targets are going to be, but give me the number one on that offense. I know it's going to be a shittier game script than we're talking in Detroit, but I think I'm going DK, man. Now, when JMO comes out and has a 70-yard touchdown, I'm going to eat my words, but DK could do that too. Pearsall or DK? I'm still going DK. Sauce is one of the most overrated corners, dude. I think actually a good point though you make is Sauce Gardner is known for committing pass interference and holding penalties, so that may DK may just end up drawing a couple deep pass interferences, which isn't going to help his stat line. So hopefully they're going to be creative. They have to be creative when they have no other receiving options there besides tight ends to move DK around. But I'm not too scared of Sauce Gardner. I think he's more of a name than he is a good NFL player. Ernie's still going off about this this spitting incident, and I don't blame you, man. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Like I didn't make the call. I was entertained by it. It was funny. He is long. You're talking about Sauce Gardner. I think Sauce Gardner's kind of trash. Chevy, I'm going to start JMO. I mean, I don't blame you for starting JMO either. I just think there's a chance JMO comes out and only gets 5 targets. Now, he could do a lot with 5 targets. We saw last year JMO had 91 targets and over 1,000 yards. But I'm going to go with the guy I know is going to get mad volume. But yeah, that is a tough one. So let's take a look at where they have them ranked in Fantasy Pros. So we have DK at 29, JMO at 30. So it is a very tough. I mean, we're right there. We're splitting hairs, right? So I guess it's whatever feeling you have. Ernie, still going on about this. I get you, man. I get you. It's start both. Oh yeah, Gilly, good point. Start. Who are your other options? He said start DK and JMO if you can. Now, if you have like Ibuka and you have another stud like Nico Collins, don't be doing that. But what's your running back 1, 2, and 3 order this week? I'm gonna have Bijan up there for sure. Obviously. I think Chase Brown's gonna light it up. I think Jonathan Taylor is gonna light it up. So we're gonna go with those guys right now. Chase Brown as 2 and Jonathan Taylor as 3. I think Jonathan Taylor is in for 25 plus touches this week. Dolphins have definitely a worse secondary than they do front, but they're gonna have to kind of sell out a little bit to kind of stop the pass. So I like JT. Jefferson, yeah, do not bench Jefferson. Yeah, I would not do that. So it's up to you, man. I don't have a very convicted answer on either of those. So I think JMO is probably the popular play. Flip a coin's always good. Unless you're the Two-Face from The Dark Knight. In that case, you can always just control the coin flip. Last point. If you have such a problem with it, why the fuck would you show the replay 5 to 10 times after the post? Yeah, I know. NFL makes a lot of dumb decisions. Roger Goodell's a fucking clown. He's an idiot. So he's literally talks out of both sides of his mouth. So I don't agree with a lot of the NFL decisions. If McCaffrey doesn't play, should I start Hall or Garendo? I mean, the problem is that Breece Hall plays at noon, and you're not going to know Christian McCaffrey's status until well after the new games start. So Garendo, I mean, I think you keep McCaffrey in there. I think we're going to roll the dice on McCaffrey playing this week, because if he doesn't play this week, he's probably going on IR. This is week 1, man. It wasn't even supposedly a setback. So I think you roll with McCaffrey, and for some reason, if he doesn't play, you start Garendo. Now, Garendo's not going to be the backup there, but he'll probably still get 7 or 8 touches, and then you're probably going to lose. But you blame McCaffrey for that one. Hutch or Parsons for DP? It's Hutch for sure. Parsons is probably only going to play 20 or 25 snaps. So Aiden Hutchinson's playing every snap. He's going to get 1 or 2 sacks in this game. Definitely Hutch. Now, if you ask me this question in 4 weeks and we see what it looks like with Parsons, it's probably Parsons, but Hutchinson is one of the favorites for Defensive Player of the Year. So I definitely go Hutch this week and probably Hutch the rest of the season. Now, if it's just a 1 IDP league, then you're going to have a decision, but I would probably start them both. Down the road, I would probably not even start Parsons anywhere if I could help it this week, because we just don't know how much he's going to play. He's going to want to play and all that shit. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. I know he was coming off, I think it was a back injury. One DP, yeah, you start Hutch. If anything, dude, try to trade. You have 2 of those guys. It's going to be a headache all year, especially if you're getting, if it's better for, sacks and big plays than it is for solo tackles. All right, my phone's going to die. I got to get off, gentlemen. Carolina versus Jacksonville thoughts. Going to be a shootout, man. I love that game for fantasy gold. So I'm going to go Dobbins over Rome today and see how the Bears' offense looks. Yeah, I don't mind that. Dobbins going to get about 15 touches. Hey, I appreciate all you guys. If you can subscribe, I'm going to be doing this 3-4 times every week. This show every Sunday morning. Gambling show Saturday night. My gambling pod coming off Friday night. We're going to have waiver shows on Tuesday. Probably a recap show tonight at 11 o'clock Central Time. So appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much.